Sure, thanks, Kevin. Good morning, everyone. Again, the flow that we mentioned yesterday, the advancing flow, continues to show signs of advancement again this morning. Since yesterday morning, it appears to have advanced approximately 350 to 400 yards. It's also widening at the very leading edge. So yesterday, I think I reported it was about 50 to 75 yards wide. This morning, it was, I would say, about 100 to 125 yards wide. Activity on the leading edge was limited to just burning of the vegetation, some forward movement and advancing flow there. The smoke conditions are blowing more over the upper or Malka areas of the Ko'ohe homestead, so kind of blowing in a southeast direction from that area. So not over the populated centers of Pahoa and Lower Puna, but more over the upper Malka outskirts of Ko'ohe and then down to the Kalapana area. It was raining, so again, no brush fire threat with what's happening right now. There's also another breakout further upslope, again on the north side of the flow. It wasn't advancing very much, just more burning activity along the edges. Again, not much of a pull away from the existing flow pad or flow itself. So the area that we're watching, again, is that downslope flow that has advanced, again, in the last 24 hours, about 350 to 400 yards. And if you have any questions for me on that particular, or those observations from this morning. A related note, we're also meeting with the businesses in the Pahoa Business Center, which is that complex where Malama Market and East Hardware is at. We've already been reaching out to them, and we'll be out there door to door again today, making contact with the businesses. Again, this does not, and I stress, this does not imply any imminent threat, but we want to make sure that the businesses are aware of what's happening upslope, the possibility of different flow paths, one of which could present with a threat to their location, so that they can have sufficient time to discuss and review their response plans as they have already in the past, and to identify any special needs that they may have. So again, I just need to stress this does not in any way imply that there is an imminent threat, but we're trying to be as proactive as we can with the time that we have and make sure we meet with the businesses. So we've been doing that yesterday and continuing today and going through the rest of the week, just, again, visiting with them and sharing with them the latest observation and discussing what their response plans are and identifying any special needs.
Daryl, Teresa, last week you mentioned that you would be meeting with folks tomorrow to go over some plans in terms of a public viewing area up near the transfer station. Is that still on track given the leading edge of this new flow front?
Yes, our plans are to continue. We have a 10 o'clock meeting tomorrow with all the stakeholders. It's to continue the discussion and identification or development of a viewing plan, a managed viewing plan that can be reviewed with the mayor. And if given okay and approvals, we'll move forward with that. Again, as was said at the community meetings last Thursday before last, is that we definitely, the mayor is very sensitive of what the students in the schools have endured and the local population has endured with the impact of the lava flow, and using an opportunity at the transfer station to provide for an educational forum on what the lava flow has done and continues to do, make people better aware of this particular hazard in our backyard and some of the science as well as some of the reaction and responses that were put together. As an example, we're looking at how can we integrate into that educational piece HELCO's response with protective measures on the poles, and have people actually look at it and hear from HELCO and see some of the information about what was considered and what their intent and strategies were in an effort to try to provide for uninterrupted power service to the community. So we're looking at making this a truly comprehensive educational forum if and when we move with the managed viewing at the transfer station.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it possible to estimate how far away the flow is from the area where those lines of steepest descent come close together?
I could probably get that for you. It'll take me just a minute or two to step out of my office so I can get you that answer. And I guess it's not difficult at all. Right now, we're still looking at about 2.7 miles from the highway and Village Road intersection. But I guess if you have questions of HBO while you're doing that, I'll run out and get that answer from our GIS person who can run out.
Actually, Daryl, I might be able to answer that for you.
Sure.
as of this morning, it was about a kilometer from that point, about 0.6 of a mile or so, give or take.
Okay.
Thanks.
And who is this? I'm sorry.
It's Mike.
Oh, hi, Mike. Yeah. Okay. And Daryl, is there any concern with the gas station down at the Pahoa Marketplace? Would they need to take any steps ahead of time to remove any hazardous materials or any fuel that could create a problem?
Yes, and actually, credit should go to the businesses. Like in this case, you specifically asked. The manager at the Malama Market is also responsible for the management of the gas station right there at the market complex. And a while back, we had discussed the appropriate or recommended safety and mitigation steps that would be taken to minimize the threat of any fire or explosion hazard. So he and I have had discussions for some time now, and again, yesterday we reconfirmed the plans that he and his corporate team would initiate with basically selling off the fuel that they have, and then to minimize the flammable vapors or explosion potential by filling the tanks with either a water foam solution. So he has already identified his plans and response plans and is ready to go. For the fuel side, he feels that minimum time he would need is at least 3 days. So we are well outside of that as far as any initiation of anything. And again, no imminent threat at this point. But yes, they have a plan, and they are prepared to initiate that plan at our direction.
Okay, thank you.
That's Kathy from AP. Is the lava still on track to potentially reach Pahoa Road as soon as December 12th?
I think HVO would agree. We're avoiding throwing out dates, and because we've seen such inconsistency with flow advancements, and even right now not knowing for certain the path. I would say you could do a mathematical calculation based on where it's at, and if it maintained a 400 yards per day rate of advancement and stayed on a straight line, you could come up with a date. But I won't be putting out a date to confirm or as a target for when we'd see any impact. I think it frustrates the community and makes it very difficult for them. So what we can assure the community is we'll give everyone more than adequate notice if there's going to be any need for an evacuation due to an impact.
Thank you. And the lava advanced, was it about 400 yards a day in the past 2 days?
That's correct. Over the last 2 days, it's been somewhat consistent in at 350 to 400 yards. And when I say somewhat, again, it doesn't necessarily follow a completely straight path, sometimes straight line. It does tend to meander or move laterally in some cases. So it's hard to say if it's going to follow a straight line. And as you look at the maps that HVO helps to produce, with the paths of steepest descent, they're not straight lines. So if you actually measured it on the blue line, it's actually further than the 2.7 miles. The 2.7 miles that I throw out is a straight line from the leading edge to that area.
This might be a better question for Mike. Tom, again, with the trib here. My understanding is the topography does kind of level out a little bit nearby. Is that expected to affect the flow rate at all?
Yeah, you can see on the map where those two flow lines sort of start to converge, and that's an area where the topography does get a little more gentle. We would expect in that area that the flow would sort of begin to pond a bit, and the advance rate would slow. We also suspect that the ongoing deflation at the summit and the slight decrease in the amount of lava going through the tube would eventually have an effect on the advance rate as well. So sort of our experience with this particular flow especially is that we would expect to see the flow rate begin to slow in the next few days as it approaches the flatter topography and feels the effects of the lessened supply.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.